How y'all been? Glad to be back with you again with another episode of Mind a Cure with Dr. T. And I really am interested in talking about a topic that I usually don't talk about because it's not something that I've been willing to openly and honestly deal with. But the topic that I'm going to be talking about today is anger. And the question that I want to try to answer is, how can I be angry and sin not? So in this video and more videos to come, we will be talking about the 4 steps to dealing with anger in a healthy way. I hope you enjoy this conversation today. And if you like it, if you find that it was helpful in any way, like, subscribe, give me comments and feedback so we can continue this juicy conversation. So, I have been having some encounters lately that have really pissed me off. And I find myself being extremely uncomfortable with these feelings of being pissed off because I like to think of myself as a nice and sweet person, and I work really hard to be gentle and gracious. And as a Christian, I kind of feel like that's what God would have me to do, to be a gentle and quiet spirit, to be patient and long-suffering. But sometimes I feel like I done suffered too long and it's not working that way. And I'm like, okay, you really pissed me off and I feel like I need to do something about it. But I also don't want to come across as the angry black woman who's twisting her head and, swinging the finger and all of that. So what is a emotionally healthy and spiritually appropriate response to being angry? As I thought about it, I came up with these 4 points, or principles, might you say. The first one is to undress the anger. Next, we have to confess the anger. Then we must express the anger, and finally address the anger. And today we are going to be talking about the step of undressing it. And what I mean by undressing it is that a lot of times what we do is we will have an experience and encounter a situation that causes us to feel angry, and we try to brush it off or suppress those feelings. And when we do that, we deceive ourselves into thinking that we've escaped that negative emotion and that we can just move on. Oh, brush your shoulders off. Oh, it is what it is. I'm so unbothered. And we're putting on, dress up clothes and costumes over our anger. And it's killing us, literally. I have been doing so much reading lately about how unexpressed and suppressed anger is emotionally and physically toxic. Our nervous system experiences and undergoes damage when we suppress anger. And the damage to that nervous system causes us to release these neurochemicals into our bloodstream that can cause physical illness. And we commonly think about, oh, they gave me an aneurysm because I was steaming hot mad and I blew a gasket, or somebody had a heart attack because they were walking around with anger. But there are other physical impacts of anger, including things like elevated blood sugar, weakened immune system, higher incidences of cancer. So you may imagine that the physical damage that occurs when you suppress anger is bad enough. But then when you combine that with the emotional damage that comes from suppressed anger, then we become depressed, anxious, and emotionally dysregulated. I think it is of utmost importance that we learn how to healthily deal with anger. And so when I'm saying undress, I'm saying let's get real with ourselves and let's be willing, let's be ready, and let's figure out how to be able to admit to ourselves, I'm really feeling pissed off right now. And I think that as we begin to stop faking the funk and stop being phony and admitting to ourselves, this situation really pissed me off, then we can begin to take the next steps to actually be able to address that. And we are all in relationships with someone. And I think the value of this is that our interactions with others can become much more transparent, and the health of those relationships can become much more, I don't know what word I'm looking for, but those relationships can be a lot healthier if we're willing to keep it real with us, keep it a buck, and say, I'm really feeling pissed off right now. So in closing, I would say one of the ways that we can really get in touch with the emotion of anger is to notice the sensations that we're feeling in our bodies. Hot temperature, tight shoulders, clenched jaws, balled fist, throbbing headache, pounding chest. These are all signals that have showed up on the scene to give us information about where we are emotionally. And we can tune in to those signals and get information about what it is we need to do to address that anger. So I invite you to welcome anger as a friendly messenger who has arrived on the scene to alert you to an issue that needs to be dealt with. And that means that we no longer have to wear costumes, put on makeup, and pretend that we're not experiencing anger when we really are. And as we allow ourselves to really sit with the truth of our emotions, we can begin to heal, we can begin to be empowered, and we can begin to do something about whatever that situation is. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you continue this conversation with me on our next episode as we cover not only how to undress anger, but how to confess our anger so that we can be well and we can live joyfully. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and comment. And until next time, this is Dr. T with Mind to Cure.